3, 2, 1.
I heard a cat.
You did. You could hear that.
I did hear that.
Yeah. I didn't even know she was in here. Oh, there she is. Yeah. Back in her spot.
Nice. I gotta start writing down stuff I see in the week, or
Yeah.
because every time it's like I feel like movie shit happens all the time.
Yeah. Right. Or there's the personal movie shit about how we got lied to again.
Oh.
You lied. That's Alex Jones.
Oh, I was thinking, because we just watched Fargo. I was thinking when he's talking to Jerry about the true coat. It's like the Midwest. It's like he's struggling to like, you're a fucking liar, and his wife is like oh, you lied to me.
I thought about Googling the Alex Jones quote, but you Google Alex Jones and liar, and you're not really going to get what you're looking for. I don't know. I don't really want to talk about that, I guess. Because it's just going to be more bitching about it. But.
Yeah. Just adding chips to our shoulders.
Yeah.
We're Papa John, and the day of reckoning is coming.
Yeah. This
is not a threat. All I can say is it's all right to be a little bitty, I guess.
Yeah. It's all right to be a little biddle.
There's your morsel. There's your little nug.
Yeah.
Unwrap it and see what you find.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is There Will Be Duds, and this is episode 87 of There Will Be Duds, and I am your co-host, TJ, aka J Spot Jack Cheese, and with me as always,
I am Nick, aka Dr. Funk on Twitch. I like this like captain's voice that you've got going on.
Am I? Oh, I see. Yeah,
Please secure all items in the area. Put your seatbelt on when the captain turns on the light.
And once you have, we will begin the in-flight movie, as always. This week is A Big Night, directed by Stanley Tucci and Campbell Scott. Yeah.
I knew this would bring out your anti-Italian sentiment. I knew it.
I was gonna say I knew what it was, like about going into it, but like as it was going and they were like getting really heavy with the accents, I was like, "Oh, do I hate this?" No, we watched Big Night, directed by Stanley Tucci and Campbell Scott. It is about a restaurant on the Jersey Shore in the 1950s, run by two Italian brothers, Primo and Secondo. And they are told by a sort of rival, sort of mentor restaurant owner, that he can get his friend, the musician singer Louis Prima, to come to their restaurant, which is they're kind of failing. They're behind on their loan payments, and it's going to get closed down. He says they think if they can get Louis Prima, like a big name, to dine at their place, then that'll bring a lot of traction, publicity, and they'll become a successful restaurant.
Yeah.
But they're on threat of like kind of just having to retreat back to Italy, which they don't want to do. And yeah, that's the big night. It's basically they're preparing for that meal, and then kind of like the fallout from that, I guess. There's a little bit afterwards. But yeah.
There's like, and there's like personal relationship stuff that's happening in between with like the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized we went to Chicago last year for my birthday, and we stopped at the Lego store.
Oh, okay.
And Chloe's like, I'm gonna make like a minifig of you, and I was like, okay. They have like heads and bodies and utensils, items, whatever. But I realized, because I have worked in the service industry, I like cooking, I like chef stuff. I realized the little guy that she made of me, I don't know if it'll focus on him, kind of looks like Tony Shalhoub. He's got a little croissant.
Okay.
She's got a camera. I think she also gave him a little pizza pie.
Oh, nice.
And a little Lego wiener. It's a little hot dog.
Oh, okay.
But I was just looking at this dude, and I was like, oh, it kind of looks like Tony Shalhoub in this movie with his huge-ass caterpillar mustache that I absolutely loved. I feel like Stanley Tucci and Tony Shalhoub in this movie were a couple of daddies. Stanley Tucci in particular, I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone in the cast is. This might be one of my favorite Ian Holm roles.
Oh, really?
That I've seen. I really liked him in this, and it's funny seeing Ian Holm is kind of like a Jimmy Stewart in the Duds canon, in which we've watched a bunch of movies where he just kind of pops up.
Yeah, pops up. Yeah.
Because I guess we didn't watch Lord of the Rings for Duds, but we both recently watched the trilogy. But it's like Ian Holm is Bilbo. He's in The Fifth Element. He was in The Aviator.
Oh yeah, The Aviator too. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like there's something else that we just watched with him in it, but great little character actor. Because usually I feel like he plays kind of more timid, kind of like characters, but this he's just like, seeing him do an Italian accent is so funny because it's like you are not Italian.
Yeah, not quite as convincing as the two leads.
Make a joke.
But yeah, I enjoyed this quite a bit.
Yeah, I did too. I love it. It seems like there are a lot, like, at least this last year or so, there have been a lot of like chef cook movies or shows or whatever.
Yeah.
And this kind of, it felt like it would be, right there in with those, and every time there'd be like a montage of them like cooking and stuff, and it doesn't have that gloss look to it that
True.
A lot of them do now, but it still looked really good.
Yeah.
Like them just, I don't know, throwing some like parsley or whatever into the mix of tomatoes and onions in the pan stuff. The timpano thing was crazy. When it got to that scene, it showed him like lifting the thing off. I was like, oh, I've seen this before. Because I guess they're like, I saw some random like YouTube video or whatever about, it wasn't binging with Babish, but something along that lines of like trying to imitate that, because apparently it's a very, very difficult dish to make.
It wasn't that Nikocado avocado guy, was it?
No.
What's up, guys? I'm mukbanging this timpano
Eating the entire thing by himself.
I'd never heard of that dish, but I know there's like certain dishes like that are just like are so volatile.
Yeah,
it's like difficult to pull off.
Well, it's I think it's because it's like it's layered. It's so deep and it's layered, and to get it to be like the layers as distinct as they are in the movie, that's the thing, because usually it just kind of mushes all together.
You really gotta get that timing down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, there's the menu. There was like The Bear was a big TV show.
There was I haven't seen it, but it's on my list. But it was like early last year or maybe the year before, called Boiling Point, which is supposed to be pretty good too.
Oh yeah.
I feel like there's something else. A Pig, that was also from the year before. But
there's
a lot of like foodie, cookie stuff in that.
Food industry kind of shit. Yeah, I was watching their hands to see if like if it was like a Hollywood kitchen movie, if they were actually like doing shit the right way, and like I think this movie passes.
It seems like it, yeah.
He wrapped the towel around the handle of the pan because the pan gets hot. His technique was good. I was like, okay, because like doesn't Stanley Tucci like have a cookbook? I think Stanley Tucci actually like does chef stuff outside of
he does. He does have, I think, on Amazon a show where it's like he tours Italy, and it's like a food show.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like I guess like an Anthony Bourdain sort of thing. Or, I mean, he's not the only one, but, like a food travelogue type thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I never really like pieced those two together, but yeah, maybe he's a foodie. That's cool.
My first note was that I was like, these are the two most repressed dudes of all time.
Yeah, I loved. I thought like the whole cast was pretty solid. But I think the standout for me is Tony Shalhoub. I thought he was fucking great.
Yeah, Tony Shalhoub is great. Which, like, I feel like usually he's kind of he's either like a comedic actor or he's like a character actor. Like, you don't really see him in like the driver's seat very much, and
yeah,
his whole thing seems to be like the driving point of the movie.
Yeah.
Because like it's not untread water, like the whole like I am a professional chef and you don't alter any of the dishes. It's about the art of it all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's a pretty common thing, but I feel like he humanizes that type of character quite a bit. Like,
yeah, he's not just
his relationship with his brother. Yeah,
he's not just the I'm an angry chef. Like, yeah, there's more to him. Like his little, I thought his like it wasn't necessary. I didn't think that either of the romance subplots, they seemed like it was kind of like one of those like required things, it felt like.
Yeah,
especially the one with Minnie Driver. But that said, I thought that like every scene between Tony Shalhoub and Allison Janney was like really cute. How he just like turns into a little like a little like schoolboy.
yeah.
The pioneers.
The Wild West, huh? Buffalo Bill.
Sort of. Families on the trail.
Oh, yeah. Tough times.
Well, times are always tough for somebody.
But yeah, and also like you're saying, like at least there's like more depth to his character. But I did really love I think it's like their first scene where they're like serving that American couple and they're like, oh,
yeah,
don't we get some spaghetti on the side? And he's like, no, it's a separate thing. And she's like, okay,
yeah.
I'll have the spaghetti and my husband will have the meatballs. And he's like, we don't really do that. Like, and like, okay, a side of spaghetti and a side of meatballs. And he's just like trying to, I don't know, that like back and forth. And then he goes back into the kitchen and like his little argument with Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah. And then he like opens the door and he's like, okay, well there she is, go talk to her. And then he's like, she wouldn't listen anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as like the actual confrontation presents itself, he's like, I don't want to do that.
Secondo, I want to know for who is it for? For the lady with the risotto. What?
Why? She likes starch. I don't know. Come on.
Bitch.
And like I feel like I could have watched that, like I could have watched them do that type of like thing a few times, but at the same time it would have like,
Yeah.
I'm glad like you said that there's more to their characters than that, but it was just really fun to watch that, I guess.
I feel like this is another one of those movies where it was like, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Where I don't know necessarily how much there is to like talk about it. I mean,
I got a
like,
few more things if you don't really have anything.
There were like, I don't know, there was like a few good quotes. You must like bite your teeth into the ass of life.
Yeah, that was one weird.
Was that Ian Holm that said that or was
Ian
that
Holm.
Isabella Rossellini? Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was Ian Holm.
Okay.
Because he does that too. He goes like all Bilbo on Stanley Tucci's ass. So he's like with the ring,
Yeah. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he bites a lot. He's a very charismatic guy who in the end kind of shanks them.
Yeah. I was bummed about that, like that betrayal, I guess, when it's revealed, because there was a little bit, I mean, there was part of me that like the whole time I was like, I feel like he is the movie's villain or something. Like he feels like he is that role, but he's so supportive and so nice. And even like when it's revealed and Stanley Tucci kind of confronts him, he's not like, ah ha ha ha, yes, I wanted you to fail. He's still being selfish. Like he's like, yeah, I wanted to save you guys. I wanted to be the hero.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just kind of it was a bummer because like I genuinely like I really, it was like wholesome how supportive he appeared to be of them. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, it felt like a betrayal to, you know, it was effective,
Yeah.
I guess, in that sense for me.
Yeah, and then, like his conversation with Stanley Tucci was, I mean, it was like, it was affecting because like he kind of explains himself. He's like basically like, it's like his intentions were in his mind kind of good because he was like,
Yeah.
he recognizes that like if you guys were more popular, you would probably like drive me out of business because like your food is good. But I'd rather you come work for me, so I'm doing this thing to basically sort of sabotage you, but kind of like gently push you into my arms so you come work for me. So it's like it doesn't seem like it comes from a place of hatred, but it's just like it's kind of just manipulative and misguided.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That scene where he like slams the table, he's like, I ought to kill you.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because you kind of think, does he like know about Isabella Rossellini?
That's what I
like,
thought too.
It felt like a misdirect because I feel like they were kind of like he flirting with each other, and
think
like there
they
were
were.
a couple shots where like Ian Holm was like kind of like
Yeah.
looking like something's going on here.
I feel like I was like, that had to be intentional, right? That they were trying to make you think, yeah, yeah, and there was another part with, oh yeah, and then she like totally cucks him at the end, Isabella Rossellini, when she like, I think, yeah, it's Tony Shalhoub, and she's like, that was the best meal I probably will ever have. And you know, it's Ian Holm as a fellow restaurateur. It's like,
Yeah. What do you mean?
the other, I think, like biggest laugh I got was the raining outside inside thing. And then he's like explaining it over and over again, and then there's like a really long pause, and it's one of those things where like the comedic timing is perfect. It's like just enough time elapses, and then they go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Red sky at morning, minute will rain outside.
What about the rain inside?
Huh?
Huh? Nothing.
No, what you mean?
Now you say rain outside, and I think for you to use the word outside is funny.
Why?
Because it can't rain inside.
I don't say inside.
I know.
I say outside.
No. I know.
So where is the problem?
No, I don't get it.
Well, you don't have to say outside because it can't rain inside.
What the fuck?
What do you think? Because there's the scene where Stanley Tucci goes to Ian Holm. I think it's like their first scene. He goes to ask for a loan, or it's when he tells him about, oh, I know Louis Prima and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And they're like in his office, and there's the shot of Ian Holm, and his face is like, yeah,
Obscured.
It's like this. I was like, is that a metaphor for, like, I was talking to Kalia, and we were like, is that because it's like showing the divide or separation? And then we were like, yeah, we both think that. And then there's the part where he goes like, I don't know if this is gonna fuck with my audio, but he goes like, whoosh, like that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, so was it just for the joke, Or is it both?
It definitely
Or
it definitely seemed like some sort of like power divide. Because like you could kind of see this lamp from both ends, but I don't know.
Stanley Tucci
Maybe
kind
I'm
of
reading.
framed like.
Yeah, he's looking through it, but then the way that Ian Holm is framed, it looked like a big mustache,
Okay.
or like a big mustache, or like a phallus. I wasn't sure if it was like he's like, I got big dick energy. I'm a businessman. I'm successful,
Okay.
and you guys have your good food, but I have like regular customers that are happy. So, it I don't know. I don't want to, sometimes the curtains are blue. Sometimes the lamp is a penis. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking it was like a more like a metaphor thing until he slammed it down, and then I was like, oh, maybe it was just a joke.
It was a joke, or maybe that was him being like, look, I'm gonna reason with you. Kind of like, I don't know, like leveling the playing field, but like, speaking plainly. Like he's like,
Yeah.
let's forget like our roles in this thing, and like let's talk man to man about like what we can do to help you.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You could. I feel like there's room for interpretation for that.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a callback to Isabella Rossellini being like, I should go out west and get a cowboy, and he had the big,
Oh,
the big
yeah.
old cowboy mustache.
Yeah.
Isabella Rossellini's a babe. I've only really seen her in like David Lynch stuff. So Blue Velvet. She's really good in Wild at Heart. She's in it very briefly in Wild at Heart. She's also in 30 Rock as Jack Donaghy's like ex-wife that won't sign the divorce papers, and there's like a scene where her and Liz Lemon like get into a brawl. She's in a few episodes, and she's really good in that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like her as an actress, but I guess I don't agree with what you said. But
Oh, it's because her name ends with a vowel.
yeah. No, it's her teeth.
All right.
As a little trivia, because I knew he was in it, but the car salesman guy is played by the other director, Campbell Scott.
Oh,
writer,
interesting.
director. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, until I read like the Wikipedia article that said that it takes place in the 50s, I totally thought it was like modern.
Oh, really?
It didn't seem, I guess I just thought it was like classic cars. I don't know why I didn't
Oh, okay.
clock that it was
Gotcha.
like set in a certain time period, but I guess the story itself felt like it could have been from the 90s.
I mean,
know?
I see that, like, without taking certain aspects into account, it could feel like if it's just inside the restaurant the whole time.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I could see that. And then I think the other like kind of big thing to talk about, before we do, did you notice other like small roles? Liev Schreiber was like the bouncer at Ian Holmes.
Was he? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I wasn't. Was that the only scene that he was in?
He he never had any lines. He
Okay.
might have popped up again later. Oh yeah, when that chef is like on fire randomly and he like stumbles out of the restaurant.
Yeah.
He's there too with Ian Holm, but like that's it.
I saw that he was in it looking at the cast list, but I don't know. We went out last night and had some beers, and I didn't have to drive, so I was watching it last night, and I was like, kind of like, okay. But I totally missed Liev Schreiber, but I knew he was in it.
Okay.
I watched this on Pluto, and like the ads. That's what I messaged you
I
about.
wondered if that's what you were talking about. We just rented it because Kalia didn't want to watch it with ads.
Yeah, that's probably the way to go. Because it was just like Star Trek Picard season 3,
Yeah.
Like every 10 minutes there was an ad, and it was and sometimes I had to rewind it because I feel like it did that Tubi thing where like I was like, did I? Because it'll go from one scene to another, and I'm like, there's the one that I'm thinking of specifically was like when it cuts to Minnie Driver throwing up.
Oh yeah.
It's like Tony Shalhoub and Allison Janney in the kitchen talking, and then ad, and then Minnie Driver throwing up, and I'm like, what did I miss? And I tried to rewind, and the ad played again, and I was like, all right, well, I guess I don't get to see that scene transition because it was a hell of a transition, very jarring.
Yeah, I forgot what it was. I think it was just something with like the food. It wasn't a big deal anyways, whatever it was.
Well, it seemed like everyone was like partying a lot, which like
yeah.
It's
And
like I
eating
don't
a
know.
lot.
I was still like hopeful for the characters, even though the like Louis Prima didn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, everyone's having a great time. Like even, Pascal, who's kind of there to sabotage them, is like, they're all dancing.
Mm-hmm.
They're all like eating the courses. I love the shot. I love the scene of them like in their food comas. They're all like super lethargic.
Yeah.
And then they wheel out like the entire pig on like a fruit basket, and they're just like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. But then they all like cheer too. They're like, yay.
Yeah. They're like, what time is it? It's 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's not like Tony Shalhoub was like, because I feel like in these types of movies where it's like, it's the big night, something usually goes wrong, and in the movie it seemed like everything went off without a hitch.
Except
everyone loved everything. Yeah, except that like Louis Prima wasn't there.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if because it's not like super clear, because I'm like, if like there's still a lot of people there, that's like good business, but I was wondering if maybe they weren't like charging those people. I think it was all basically on the house, and that's why
it was
him not showing up. Just like, cause they were riding on it being on Louis Prima, being in
like,
business
oh, this place
later.
rules. Yeah. Because I mean, there is also that scene early, because it's like I feel like you get to know kind of how the two brothers operate like very quickly. Like Stanley Tucci is much more pragmatic, willing to like he has like his brother's ethics about it, just like the food should be the reason that people are here. The food should not be altered. Like we're trying to present this authentic experience. But he's like,
But
okay, can you just make some spaghetti and meatballs, please?
Yeah.
And then like
he's like, look, yes, we need to keep these as being our own thing and our own unique thing, but can we please film in Lansing this time? That's what he's doing.
There's another little nug. But then it's like you see Primo, who's like, oh, okay. Like, okay, yeah, you can't pay. Just, I'll take another painting. Cool, we're good.
Yeah.
Like, it's much more like old world.
He's like, what would money do for me? Is what he says.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's so focused on like the food and like the preparation and like the prestige of it that he's just like, yeah, okay, well, here's a great work of art from me. Oh, you gave me a great work of art from you. Cool.
Yeah.
And then Stanley Tucci's like, yeah, all right, just go put it with all the other ones. Like, this dude is just like painting his way into free meals, essentially.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Another part that I liked was where Allison Janney shows up and she's like, "Oh, I like the paintings," and then Tony Shalhoub's like, "Yeah." And then and then Stanley Tucci kind of has to be like, it's like, well, show her, like, he's like, talk to her, and Tony Shalhoub just goes, like, doesn't even wait for her, and she's like still kind of like back, and he's like away from the camera, and he's like, oh yeah, so this one and da da da, and then she has to like go catch up with him.
Yeah.
I love all the paintings.
Oh, yes. Show the lady.
Show me one of them.
Oh, yes. Yes.
All right.
Well, here, we start here with this one.
Yeah, very like lacking in self-awareness.
Yeah,
is like kind of his whole thing. Or he's just he's very passionate and very like focused on that, and everything else is like kind of a distraction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um. Uh. Yeah. The like main thing I wanted to get to was that ending, because that's why that was kind of like the main thing. Sometimes it's just like one little thing. Sometimes it's like, oh, this is a movie that I've really wanted to watch for a while. But then sometimes it's one little thing. And the thing that I knew about this is that like the ending is, a lot of people say it's like their favorite ending of all time, or it's like one of them. Kalia says it's one of her favorite endings.
So she had seen this before.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I gotta say it was pretty great. I loved that, like everything about that ending. It was pretty, like, I think it, I don't know if it makes like my top 5 endings of all time, but I thought it was pretty awesome. Like I just I think I felt like as it went on, I was like, oh, I think this is it. Like as it kind of, it was like a few minutes of just dead silence. I guess so, like, presumably if you're listening to the episode, you've watched the movie, but we'll deal with so it's like,
did Mark Anthony have did he have a single line in this movie?
He at least had one, because he said I don't know. He's Stanley Tucci like handed me, he's like, oh, go show them the something, and he's like, I don't know what that is.
Cristiano, come here, please. Do me a favor, go outside and watch for Louis Primo, okay?
I don't know what he looks like.
That might have been like his only line. I actually really liked him in this movie. I was a little worried of like, I don't know, Latin pop star. Like, is he gonna kind of feel like out of place or something? But like, I like that he was just kind of like the silent dude in the background, and he was like a good addition. I always like seeing him moving around in the scene and stuff.
And like, he gives his chef's coat to Minnie Driver when she comes out of the water.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of like, and I think that's what makes the ending so good, is that it's like you kind of fill it in, internally as you're watching it, because there's like very little dialogue, or in the ending's case, no dialogue. I guess he's like, I'll cook you some eggs.
Yeah, he says, are you hungry? And then he says, no, I'll do it. And I think that's it. I think those are like the only lines for like I don't know, at least 5 minutes, maybe more. How long does it how long does it take to cook an egg?
He did it the right way.
Yeah, when you were talking about like watching them to make sure, I was like, well, that last shot, like you see him do the
you
entire
literally
process,
watch him do it,
make an omelet, and it was. There's really not much to say about the ending, other than it is kind of just like a perfect ending. It's really, it's like, it's bittersweet, it's like they're still probably gonna lose their restaurant. They might have to go back to Italy, but still, I got like, I actually had like a lump in my throat when he like puts his arm around Tony Shalhoub, and then Tony Shalhoub hit it back. I was like, oh, that was good.
Yep,
that was really good. And also, something I noted is I love the blocking in that scene, because Tony Shalhoub finally enters after Stanley Tucci and Mark Anthony have started eating, and he sits down, and they're like lined up, so he like perfectly fills in that gap between the two. And I was like, ooh, that's what I like to see.
yeah, and it's like, again, it's like completely silent, and it's like, I feel like they have this entire conversation, this entire like understanding of each other in that scene, and no one says a word, and it's just like, maybe they don't have the girl, maybe they don't have the celebrity review of their restaurant, but they have each other. And ultimately, like, that's all that matters.
That's kind of what the movie is ultimately about, right? Is like, it's the relationship between the two brothers. I think that's it then. That was like the last thing I wanted to cover, really. So so I think it's me first this week.
Okay.
I think I settled on an 8.
Okay.
I really, really like this movie. I thought it had some trappings of the genre. Like I said, like, I thought I guess I liked the characters enough that it kind of mitigated some of the whatever, but like I like the romance subplots. I was like, yeah. The like I said, the Alice and Janney one I liked more just because I liked their interactions more. But a lot of like the Minnie Driver stuff was very rote and whatever. But like, you know, I mean, like she was still like good in it, so it's not like I hated her presence. It was just like that it was like forced in there, like a little and yeah, some other little like things like that I picked up but didn't really write down, so I can't remember exactly. But I think it's elevated by just the performances and the characters just being so fun to watch. Like this is a movie that I could watch. I like for sure. There's a lot of movies that we do where like I'll even rate them high, but I'm like I could wait a while to watch that. Yeah. But this movie feels like something that I could put on at any time and have a good time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just I think it's really, again, like it's just again great cast of people that I really like to see and stuff. Just makes it really charming. It's a very charming movie, and then yeah, the ending kind of brings it home and makes it like, all right, yeah, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was kind of sitting around 7.5, but I don't know. Now that we talk about the ending, I do think I'm kind of sitting at an 8. I feel like that ending really kind of elevates it to that, like, you know, to that status. Yeah, basically everything that you said. It's like the romance subplot was basically there. I guess it was there to like try to hammer in the main point that it's like all they really have and all they really need is each other, and like women come and go, but family is everything.
It wasn't 100
kind of thing.
It wasn't like totally unnecessary, right?
Yeah,
because like it made that ending kind of pack more of a punch of like, yeah, not only did they lose the restaurant, but like he lost his girl, you know, sort of thing.
Yeah, but it was like it was done in a very like by the numbers, like, oh, I'm in this love triangle. Like the fact that him and Isabella Rossellini were like secretly seeing each other, it felt kind of forced.
Yeah, and then
like I feel like because like they have that conversation. What's that?
I was just saying, and then the also cliche is like how Minnie Driver finds out. It's like, oh, she walks in on them kissing. It's, you know, yeah.
Yeah. Because like I feel like, you know, with that early conversation with them in the car, when he's just like, I'm not set, I'm not ready yet. Like we're not successful yet. I don't feel like I can like commit to this relationship further until like things work out for me. That could have been just enough of a catalyst to like, she's like, okay, well, I'm not waiting anymore. But it's like, you know, the infidelity thing. It's like, okay, I guess that's another way to get there. But I feel like if she had just kind of been like, okay, well, this isn't going to work out, so I'm leaving. Yeah, little things. But yeah, that ending I think really is what makes this movie sparkle. So yeah, I'm also at an 8.
Nice.
I ate some eggs this morning, which is funny because like I was finishing the movie this morning and Chloe came out. I was like, oh, is this the end? And I was like, yeah. And then I'm watching it and then she's like, do you want to make me some scrambled eggs before you record? And I'm like, how dare you ask me that? But I did, and I felt it's like, you know, when you watch a movie and it like resonates with you and you're like, wow, my life is gonna change. I like went into the kitchen and I was cracking the eggs and I was like whisking them and I was like, I'm just like Tony Shalhoub right now. Like I feel like I did everything with a little bit more care. I was like, yeah, there's the salt, there's the pepper, there's the, you know. Yeah, really made me want to learn how to make like I wish I knew how to make noodles.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that scene where they're like cutting them up and stuff.
Yeah, I love that where like they make the little like volcano and then they crack the eggs inside of it and then they make the pasta and then they roll it out. Because I have a KitchenAid stand mixer but I don't have there's like an attachment head that you can get where you can feed the noodles in and like it makes noodles on the outside and then you can cut them.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, that I did really like that part. That was really cool. that's an example of, you know, good food stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, but we did Italian food for this last night.
Oh,
We had
nice.
some I mixed some tortellini with giardiniera. It was pretty good.
Oh,
The
giardiniera.
like the vinegar or whatever of the giardiniera kind of cut through the sauce, and it was good. Yeah.
Oh, I love giardiniera so much.
Yeah. And then I did some fancy. I like I sliced up some ciabatta. Yeah, ciabatta bread, and then like toasted it in the oven with some cheese.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Just like Tony, just like Bart.
There's a callback.
Yeah. Speaking of callback, here's an ad break. Are we back?
I'm thinking we're back.
Am I thinking we're back? I am continuing my
Gauntlet.
Yeah, there we go. Through mostly dramas. The Academy Awards nominees. I'm trying to, just for fun, because it does make it more fun to where even if like I don't like a movie, it's like, all right, that's one more. I can be prepared for this thing that everyone hates.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not doing just the best pictures. I'm trying to watch, I guess, just mostly as many as I can of like all the nominees.
We're like about a month out at the time of this recording.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna try, but
at least
I'm
the best
noticing.
pictures.
Yeah, I'm noticing like the trend in your Letterboxd review is like too long. Didn't need to be this long.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous how many of these are almost 3 hours.
Ugh.
Like one that I watched, Elvis, almost 3 hours. And holy shit. Oh man, it was rough. It was really rough. I think Austin Butler did a better job than I expected in like the quieter moments, especially where like there's people just talking and there's not like, you know, light filters over the camera and music going and shit. He was like good. It's just that it's drowned out by all this fucking noise. That's a Baz Luhrmann movie, and he is known for those kinds of movies.
Yeah.
And I love his first two. I dig. I would say I like Romeo and Juliet. I think that one's really fun. It's silly and wacky. I enjoy that one. And then I love his first movie, Strictly Ballroom. That movie's fantastic.
Okay.
But that's about it. But he's still one of those guys that like I'll check out his stuff because it's like it's always wild. It's always like an experience. And I guess I would say that about Elvis, but fucking hell, it like I feel like I would have had a lot better time if this was just like 2 hours. And so there's so much fat. But yeah, Austin Butler did a good job. I still don't think he, you know, I haven't seen The Whale yet, but I guess Colin Farrell's also nominated, and I think he was better than Austin Butler.
Yeah, for Banshees, for sure.
Yeah.
Was there a scene where he ate 15 ham sandwiches?
No. No, I think the last scene is where he's like, it's him performing at like his final show, and there's like
I think I told you about that one.
Yeah, you did. Because the movie like cuts to like the real. It like
Yeah,
cuts to the
yeah.
audience and then cuts back, and it took me a second, but I was like, oh, this is the real Elvis now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. See it as like a curiosity piece. It, you know, it helps that it's a best picture, right? So I could be like, okay, that's one of the best pictures off the list.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was
yeah.
it was fucking just nonsense for most of it.
Yeah, the only other clip that I've seen of that movie, and I think you also pointed it out in your Letterboxd review, was when he's got the mic and he goes,
You've seen that?
I've seen that clip.
Fucking God. Oh my fucking God. I lost my goddamn mind at that part. It's so
You're like, what?
weird. It's in the middle. It's in the middle of this long montage, of, it's like, oh, he's playing at the International. It's like, look at him being Elvis. He's doing all this stuff. Look at him. He's got all this stuff in his house now. He's so rich. Oh, look at all these women screaming over him, and now he's performing. And then he just goes, Lord have mercy. Wonk. And then it continues the montage. There's no it's like, what the fuck was
have you checked if there's like real footage of that? Like
No, that is like a thing. Like, again, it's exactly like there is a show where Elvis, he does that exact, he says, Lord have mercy, and then he goes, well. But the thing is in the show, immediately after he does it, he like grabs his throat and he like laughs it off. It's still very weird that Elvis just did that, but at least there's the part where he laughs it off. In the show, there's no break. It just cuts away, so it's like, okay.
I just looked. I looked up the clip.
You can also find like Elvis Eats Microphone compilation, because he does it a lot, actually, surprisingly. But yeah, definitely the Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury nomination of the bunch, which makes me worry that he's gonna win, because the Academy really loves when people do good impersonations.
Did Rami Malek win like Best Actor for that?
Yeah, he did. And I think Eddie Redmayne won for Stephen Hawking.
Theory of Everything or whatever.
But I'm more okay with that one, I guess. I feel like that was a bit more impressive. Still,
but it's Rami Malek. It's just like you have big teeth and a mustache.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Other than the sort of uncanny valley kind of look-alike, that's like, it's kind of it.
Yeah. Austin Butler did do like most of the singing though, and he does sound pretty good.
Well, apparently he's stuck in it now.
He's stuck?
He's like stuck in the Elvis voice.
Oh,
like
yeah,
he did
I've
it.
seen that.
Like there was like some award show where like I guess he accepted some sort of award and he was still like, oh, thank you. Like he was still like doing the Elvis affectation.
Yeah, I saw a thing. It was like him, Austin Butler before and after Elvis, and I don't know if I buy it. I think it could just be like an award stunt.
It's a campaign.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny because I think it was the Golden Globes. Evan Peters also won for Dahmer, and I think
do it in a Minnesotan accent.
Well, it's like I think his voice just naturally kind of sounds like that.
He does kind of have like a little bit of a like.
He's like, oh, all right, thanks, thank you for this award. And it's like I was like, you sound like Dahmer here, but maybe that's just his normal. Maybe he didn't have to do much to like change into that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like the affectations. It was more just the accent. I think that he changed. Oh yeah, like.
Yeah. That should be our new Duds intro. You've seen that as like the meme format where it's in the first episode when he's forcing the guy to watch The Exorcist.
Yeah,
he's got the knife on him and he's pointing at the TV. We got to put like the Duds opening crawl, like the VHS tape.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to sit down and watch this now. Real people died.
And then a couple documentaries that I liked. All That Breathes.
One that you didn't like. Sorry, I stalk your Letterboxd.
Oh yeah, that was a short, but yeah, that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Documentary features that are nominated: All That Breathes and Fire of Love. Just solid. I really like the message and what All That Breathes is about. It was just kind of missing a little bit, but I still liked it a lot. Fire of Love was great. I think I've only seen 2 of the documentaries so far. Or no, I've seen 3 of the documentaries so far, and that one's my favorite for sure. Just
are these
really
streaming,
cool.
or did you find other ways to watch them?
A decent amount of them are streaming. All That Breathes I know is on HBO. Fire of Love is on Disney Plus.
Interesting.
Yeah, Fire of Love is about this couple that were volcanologists, and it's just all basically their own like recordings from their research and stuff, and then they died in eruption.
Oh,
But it's
but you said volcanologists, like they were like big into Star Trek. So I guess spoilers. Did they die in the field?
Yeah, that's what. I said
Huh.
they died in an eruption.
Oh, an eruption. Okay, which one?
One in Japan.
Oh, okay.
I forgot what the name of the mountain was.
It's not Fuji. Is Fuji an active volcano?
I don't think so, but it was. It
Oh.
definitely wasn't Fuji.
Oh,
It was like
okay.
in 1990 or 91, something like that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's really good. It's neat because it's more about their relationship than necessarily like the field. Although it does like touch into like what they did for
Sure.
the field or whatever. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, just really cool documentary. I highly recommend that one at least. And then After Sun, which is only up for Best Actor, but I'd heard a lot of good things about it, and the guy that's nominated is Paul Mescal, who
Yes.
was one of the two leads from Normal People. And man, that guy is great. I think between those two, he has like rocketed up my list. Like he's like one of my favorite actors now. He's just, there's some like, he plays all these very, well, I should at least, the two roles that I've seen him in, they're very like they're very like vulnerable feeling roles. Like in kind of in both of them, he plays like he's like like depression.
Yeah.
Both the characters are facing that. Like After Sun, he's a father to like the main character, and he's like a really good dad, but you don't ever see it overtly, but it's like implied that he's like an alcoholic and stuff like that. And I don't know, he just plays it really well. Yeah, he's really good in it. Also better than Austin Butler. And now that I remember that I would maybe put him over Colin Farrell too.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Different roles, but yeah, he's really good. That's another one that I would recommend a lot. Pretty. It's not like out like a total major bummer, but it kind of is.
There's like a few like film reviewer YouTubers that kind of did their like best of the year list, and I think After Sun was pretty high up there for a lot of those guys.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better ones that I've seen in the bunch. And I watched Avatar 2. I don't think I don't think I have much to add to the pile. It's pretty much what I expected. It's like a fun time in the theater, but then like you put any real thought into it, and you're like, there's a lot of like issues with that. There's a lot of like weird plot stuff. Or those characters were kind of weak. There's a really dumb like, it's like you're waiting so long to make a sequel, and I'm assuming you don't care if I spoil it. You saw the first one at some point?
It's been a long time, but yeah.
So Stephen Lang is the main bad guy. He's like the military dude.
Yeah,
He's
is
in
it the
charge
same
of
military dude from the first one?
So he fucking dies at the beginning, or at the end of the first one.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And they bring him back in this one. He's now a Na'vi. Like they kind of like retcon. They're like, oh yeah, all of you Marines, they like, you know, before you died, we did like a kind of like a recording of your brain or whatever, so we could reproduce you in Na'vi form. And it's just like, sure, that's dumb, but I have more of an issue with like, why just like, it's not like he's not like you're just a villain in the Avatar movie. I don't think that's what people like remember or love about the Avatar movie in particular. It's the world and all that, you know, it's the exploration of Pandora. That's what fascinated people. So it's like this movie's came out 13 years after the original, and you're just going to bring back this guy like he was that integral to the original movie that like you have to make him the main villain and the main driving force of this. It's just like, why?
Yeah.
It felt so weird.
This one's for all the military industrial complex stands out there.
Yeah. Oh man, speaking of like all the Marine talk, it was like, is this like fucking 2005 or something? They were doing like hoorah and yeah, this is FUBAR and that type of shit. Oh man, it was so
that Navi has been compromised to a permanent end.
Yeah, just like God, like if that's how Marines still talk, they are the cringiest like fake edgelords ever. God, it was rough.
Yeah, I feel like most Marines are probably just like constantly using slurs and calling calling each other homophobic names.
Yeah,
that would be a weirdly funny injection of like reality into Avatar. Is just every scene with the military dudes, and they're just like, beep beep, you piece of beep.
Yeah. Yeah, he writes in like an N-word equivalent for the Navi. But it's like, yeah, but it's okay because it's like, you know, it's science fiction, so we can say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it was very pretty. There was some bits that like 99% of it looks amazing and looks gorgeous, but then that makes that 1% stick out. Like there was a couple scenes like they like catch a fish, they like, you know, they spear it and then they like got it on the spear, and it like repeats that scene again at the end, and the fish looked bad, and I was like, why? Like this one thing, you know, and there's like a couple little things like that. You know, the fish is only in it for a few seconds, it's just a fish, but it really stands out to me. Like I still remember how like not great that fish looked.
It's like the Ocarina of Time fish. He's like,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. If you think you'd like it, you'll probably like it. If you don't, you probably won't. If you're like me, yeah, I don't regret seeing it in theaters. You know, we did the whole 9 yards. We did 3D IMAX, and it was fun, but we both had headaches afterwards. So.
Yeah, I've only seen a handful of like 3D movies in theaters, and it's just like I don't give a shit. I don't particularly like it. Like
3D does nothing for me. I like IMAX. IMAX does impress me, but 3D just it really. I was watching it, and it's because like I watch 3D so sparsely that I was like okay, I'll do it for this one. But I think like when Avatar 3 comes out, hopefully I'll remember like, okay, I'll see it IMAX, but I don't need 3D. You know?
Yeah.
It just it does absolutely nothing. And then last one I wanted to mention was Triangle of Sadness. I really gotta like reevaluate Banshees and Everything Everywhere, but Triangle of Sadness might be my favorite of the best pictures so far.
I have heard it's good.
It's
already got a Criterion release.
Oh,
like
really?
It's already been announced and is going to come out on it.
Nice. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, you heard me say saw you saw my review about the like. I'm not exaggerating when I say it's like dinner disaster. Like, it's awesome, and it's like 15-20 minutes of the movie just right in the middle. It's also long. I'll say that. I think it's like 2.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I feel like maybe it could have been shorter. The kind of ramp up of like the first act or whatever, kind of before they get to the boat, which is the boat, and after is like the main story.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe trim that out to get it to around 2 hours. But unlike a lot of the other ones like Avatar or Elvis, I was having a fun time the whole time. So I wasn't like, it wasn't, you know, as grating or whatever as those ones. It was, it's really fucking silly. It's yet another of like the rich people are bad and poor people are repressed, but it's like, you know, we know, you know. I think we got it with Parasite. That was, we did, you know, that not gonna make one better than that in my opinion.
That is a trend that like, unless it's done correctly or done well, I would like to see it go away.
Yeah, as much as it's like true, It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but if there's if you don't have like the right nuance and yeah, I don't know if this like tackled that the best, but like they make the characters so fucking stupid in this movie that it's like it's like I said, it's still fun. It's still wacky and and
Bong should just keep making Parasite every year, and then Parasite wins every year.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember another like Best Picture winner that I have like felt as strongly as like, yes, this film deserves Best Picture like more than Parasite.
Hell yeah. Not in a long time. I mean, since I've really started following them, yeah. I remember when The Departed won, I was like that, like when it was that year Oscars, I was like, yes, I want that one to win. But that was probably the only one I had seen.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I would still agree with that, you know?
Yeah.
And then I guess since you mentioned it, yeah, I've watched a few of the shorts too. Most of them have been not great.
Yeah.
Basic shit. The only one that I have liked, and I liked a lot, was I think it's Haul Out. It's spelled that way, but I thought it was like a Russian word, so I kept thinking it was like hello. Oh, hello. But I did some Googling. I think it's just I think it is an English term, and it's Haul Out. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But it's about this dude in like remote Siberia who's like researching like the walrus haul out, which is like when they all come to land to just kind of rest.
Oh, interesting.
But with like the shrinking ice caps, which is where they normally will rest, there aren't any. There's no ice, so they all congregate on this small like peninsula of land. And like I think he said he recorded like 600 deaths or something like that, because they all just like they're literally piled on top of each other, and so they like suffocate or like crush. It's really fucked up. It's really, really depressing. It's really sad. But at the same time, really cool. Like the cinematography is really, really cool. The first time you see him, because like the first few minutes is just this dude alone in his cabin. It's silent, and then it cuts to like you hear like some noises outside, and he opens his like window, and you just see thousands of walruses, and it just like holds on that for like a minute. Yeah, if you think you can stomach it, I think it's great.
Yeah,
it's like a half an hour, and it's on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
It's called Haul Out. That's how it sounds.
Walruses are funny guys.
Yeah, they are. And there's some cute moments with the walruses, but then it's like it's all framed with like, yeah, but they're dying.
And, and it's probably our fault.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, yeah, if you think you could handle it, that's a big wreck for me. That was great. Haul Out was great. That's
sounds similar to that other pig movie that you described. That's like,
you're talking about Gunda.
Yeah, that like I don't think I'll ever watch that.
Yeah,
just based on.
Oh yeah, the ending of Gunda sucked.
Yeah,
that fucking sucked. Forgot about that movie.
All right. I saw a couple things.
Yeah.
A couple. It was Chloe's birthday last week, and we kind of talked about this a little bit off pod, but she's like, oh, I want to pick out a movie. Like, what do you want to watch? I was like, it's your birthday. You pick whatever you want. So she picked Fargo, which I thought was interesting. We saw it 3 years. We saw it like it was like our first wealthy theater movie that we saw, and then like pandemic happened. It was like Fargo, Blue Velvet. We bought the whole like membership to get like the discounted tickets, and then the pandemic happened, and they were closed for basically the entire year. But Fargo's up there for like one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies. Like, I don't know, I rate things too highly on Letterboxd. Like certain movies, I'll just be like, yeah, it's a 5-star, and like Fargo is one of them for me. It reminded me in a little bit of the book well, so okay, let me restart. The way that Fargo is done and like the way that the dialogue is done and the characters remind me of like a Cormac McCarthy novel. In that the characters speak very plainly to each other. Because like, have you read No Country for Old Men? That the dialogue in that is very much like, I don't know, Cormac McCarthy has like this very simplistic way of writing, but it's great. It's because like he sat down.
A couple of his. I've read The Road and Blood Meridian.
Okay. But it's like, it makes sense that the Coens eventually did No Country because Fargo, it's like, oh yeah, I know. You know, it's like that, but it's like, I don't know, something about it is just like, it's so simple, but it's like so effective to me how they speak to each other.
Yeah.
I forget how funny that movie is. Steve Buscemi just getting his ass kicked the entire time. Like the shot of him being choked out and he's like his eyes are rolled up in his head. He just has such a wormy disposition. You know, the inspiration for the monster from The Host.
Yep.
But that was great. And then on Valentine's Day we saw Punch Drunk Love, which is another 5-star for me. You've seen that, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was it's like one of my favorite romantic comedies, but it's like also the most like anxiety inducing romantic comedies. There's like one scene in particular where it's like Adam Sandler's sister comes in with Emily Watson, I think her name is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She's
trying to talk to him. The phone sex line operator keeps calling him. And it's just like John Bryan's score is just like doop, doop, deep, deep, doop, deep, doop. It's just going, and the camera's moving around, and he's answering the phone. He's like, "This is Barry," and then it's like, "Listen here, Barry, you just made a big mistake." He's like, "Okay," and he hangs up the phone, and it's just like, it's so intense for like a romantic comedy. It's like, that was great.
Yeah,
it's that and like Uncut Gems. This, and maybe it's recency bias, but this might be my favorite Adam Sandler like
performance,
dramatic role. Like I don't know, I was enamored by Uncut Gems when it came out, but seeing this again and just like, I don't know, there's a nuance to Barry that he does that's just so good.
Yeah.
And obviously the Philip Seymour Hoffman, you know, that's that mattress man, like that shit.
Yeah. I've been meaning to rewatch Fargo ever since the show, which I mean, I've been watching the show for years, so that tells you I've watched the show pretty much since it came out, and I still haven't rewatched the movie. You should watch the show. I know I say that like every time I bring it up, but and then I definitely have to watch Punch Drunk Love again to see. But my favorite, unless I watch Punch Drunk Love again and change my mind, my favorite Adam Sandler is the Meyerowitz Stories for sure.
Oh, okay. I think you've told me about that.
Yeah. It's a maybe more reserved performance than Uncut or Punch Drunk Love, but
yeah,
it's really good. The last thing we'll break from movies. It's been
an
out
adaptation of a movie.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. They came out a few weeks ago, maybe like a month ago when this comes out. But the Goldeneye is now on Switch and Xbox Live. It's the for as huge of a game as it is, it's the first like official re-release of it since 97 or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, just because I guess it's just like legal copyright rights. Like it's apparently it's hell with that game. It's just because of how the original was published under Rare, but also it's like, I don't know, multiple different.
It's like Ian Fleming, like the James Bond character is like so iconic. It's
that too, yeah.
Yeah, they originally wanted to have him in Super Smash Bros. Like the Pierce Brosnan James Bond, but apparently I think very very similarly it was like a legal thing, and they were like, we already jumped through enough hoops with like making the game. we can't get him in Super Smash Bros.
Damn. That'd be so weird, but so awesome if James Bond was an OG Smash Bros. Character.
Because it's like you got Mario, Donkey Kong, Luigi, Jigglypuff,
James Bond
with a gun.
Who kills many people.
Yeah. The proximity mine made it into Smash Bros. As an item.
I never even made that connection.
If you look at it, I'm pretty sure it's the same.
It is,
like
yeah.
model and design. Yeah.
I never. Wow.
Yeah.
No, I can picture it in Smash Bros. And yeah, it's the exact same. But I never really thought of it being from James Bond. Huh. Yeah. It mixed on it. You know, it's like as far as like holding up versus not, I think it holds up better than probably a lot of games from the generation. Like, and playing it now, in like retrospect, I can like really appreciate it more so than when I was a little kid, like when it came out originally, like just like how influential it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and just being like, oh yeah, okay, I get why this is like revered for what it is.
Yeah. It's like the first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure other games existed at the time, but Goldeneye was like, that was the game. It was like, you know, all my cousins had it, and it was like we'd go over to their house, and we'd always play like the multiplayer Goldeneye, which like I was terrible at. So like I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I like the golden gun because it kills you in one hit.
Yeah.
You know. Or like I remember DK mode making like all the characters' heads massive.
Yeah, you gotta have.
Which then you see their blown out texture because like it's funny like when you boot up GoldenEye and it's like it's doing the cast of characters and it's very obvious that they just took like a low res image and like molded it around a polygon face. So you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
But at the time it's probably like, oh, it's Pierce Brosnan. Holy shit.
Yeah.
All those 8-year-olds are like, yeah, oh my god, mom, it's Pierce Brosnan on the game.
Yeah, right. Sean Bean, he's my favorite. Yeah, we got, it came out a few years later, but we got The World Is Not Enough, and in my opinion, vastly superior multiplayer. But I think most people got and had GoldenEye. I don't think World Is Not Enough did nearly as well with like sales or critical reception. But yeah, I think like multiplayer, I think it was like way better.
They probably improved a lot of the control schemes and like.
I want to say the biggest fucking annoyance with GoldenEye, which I don't think is in The World's Not Enough. Well, the annoyance with the Switch version is that they don't really format the controller to the new, the dual
more
stick
modern
layout.
Yeah.
Because with the Nintendo 64, you had your one central control stick, and then I think it was your C buttons to kind of move the camera. So there's people who have like, you can look up guides for how to do like a custom button mapping for it, but like Nintendo should have just done that themselves. You shouldn't have to like do that.
Yep.
But even with that, even on N64, it does this fucking thing with your aiming that I can't stand. And it's like whether you're, just kind of as you're moving, if you're in easy or medium, it does have aim assist, which like helps a lot because I've done a couple episodes in 00 Agent, the hard mode, and there's no aim assist, and it makes it exponentially more difficult, like more so than like the enemies having more health or the enemies doing more damage or you having more objectives. The no aim assist is like just that makes it so much harder.
But the level that I played, it was like I got the sniper rifle, and it's just like the way that the cursor works
is that
it's like
the snowy one.
Okay, it's like the cursor is in the middle, and even if you move, it's constantly like dragging. That's what I mean. Back
it's
to
the
it.
drag.
Like, it's so unintuitive. It's
awful. Like when you're trying to shoot down the turrets, like any sort of the auto turrets. It doesn't aim assist those. It only aim assists like other people. and the turrets are always kind of like up or like in a corner or something, so you have to do the manual aiming, and they do so much fucking damage too.
Yeah, it's like you're dying because you have to stand there and like constantly readjust to try to like get the cursor on it.
Yeah, and when you get hit, there's pushback. So literally the only way I've been able to deal with the turrets is like hide around a corner and then pop out and like take a shot, pop back in. But I have to like constantly be adjusting my aim because I'll pop out and I'll be like, okay, I need to go down. So then I'll go back behind the corner and they'll be like, pop out. Okay, I need to go back up a little bit, and then and you have to be so quick. It sucks.
Tedious.
And I found that to be the case with a lot of these older, like Super Mario 64, I think has some control issues, but it's also like, you know, hugely influential, huge, like amazing, like 3D platformer, the first of its kind thing. And it has, you know, these things have earned their place in the video game history, but that doesn't mean that they're flawless, you know? And I think if they like updated Mario 64 to like make the camera more fluid the way it is in like modern games, the camera sucks in
it would be great. But yeah, there's certain spots in that game where it's like it's really tight platforming, and like if you don't have the camera exact, it's like you just die, you're dead.
And they do like the camera is like physical basically, so like you can't push it through walls or something, which is really annoying. So I've played through the entire campaign in easy in Agent, and then almost all through Secret Agent. I have 2 more levels. It's because I've been 100%ing all of the N64 games, and I have so far, and like I don't know, I'm like, is this the one that's gonna break that streak?
Man.
Because of the no aim assist in hard mode. I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. I just like I don't have the fortitude, and I could save scum. I have save scummed on some parts because the again with that fucking aiming, and it's worse in this than in the N64 because I think the sensitivity is up on the Switch control sticks. So there's I think 2 parts in the game where you have to use your like watch laser, or you can use guns, but it's quicker to use the watch laser. It's the end of the first surface level where you climb up on top of that silo, and there's like the grate, and there's 4 like padlocks, and you have to laser the padlocks. The grate falls, and then you can jump into the hole, and that's how you end the level. And then later on the train level, there's a floor. It's a similar thing. There's a floor panel. You got to laser out the latches, but there's like 20 latches, and you're timed on this one. There's a bomb that's gonna go off in like a minute, and especially on that one, I save scummed because like you like shift or you aim up, and James Bond crouches because like he'll crouch automatically if you like approach a hole or something. So it's like there's an invisible ledge there that if you angle a certain way, he crouches. So then you have to adjust your aim again, and then he stands up, and then you adjust it again. And so I would just, when I realized that, I was just like, I did the save state, and then it took me multiple times because it's really irritating.
If you die, did you have to go back to the beginning, or or the like
you have to restart the levels. The good thing is like the levels themselves are really short. I was surprised how short like every level is. Like on Agent, now that I'm like fairly familiar with it, I feel like you can beat the game in like 2 hours on the easy mode, if that. Even like a lot of the levels are 2-3 minutes, just if you're going at like a decent pace. You don't even have to be speed running.
I'd be curious to watch a speed run of this game just to see how people have like manipulated the shitty aim controls, and like how they like muscle memory just like pew 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 just like take dudes out. You know, how quickly.
Well, I think the speed run tactic is
just run past everybody.
Yeah, just run past everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. Like if you watch Resident Evil speedruns, they only take out the zombies that they need to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just like bob and weave, bob and weave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this zombie has a specific like move where there's like an RNG based chance that it does a certain type of attack that will hit you.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, they have like contingencies for that.
Yeah.
But it's like I've watched a few like Resident Evil 7 speedruns, and it's just like it's crazy how they just like move right by him and like
yeah.
it's like, oh, this game isn't even scary anymore. They just duck right by everybody.
Yeah. It's good. It's still solid. It definitely has its issues. It has its aging.
Yeah.
It was fun to play through the first time. Now I'm just doing it because I'm a completionist. And yeah, I'll see if I actually.
So, did you 100% Banjo-Kazooie?
Yeah, I did.
That last world is a son of a bitch.
Click Clock or Rusty Bucket?
I think Click Clock.
Click Clock.
The one with
both
like
of
the
them
4
suck.
seasons.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I streamed. I think I was short 1 Jiggy in my stream.
And Click
And
Clock.
I don't even think it was. No, it wasn't. I think it was just one of the, like some random like you have to press a button in a level and it makes a Jiggy
Oh.
appear outside. I think that was like the one that I missed, and I was like, I don't care, because like that's
But you
yeah.
have to survive the whole way or something like that. It's
The thing about Click Clack Wood is that like it's tough, and also like if you die and you re-enter the level, you have to get all the notes again.
oh yeah, and they're spread amongst like. All
And it
the
was just like,
seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened was like I was at like 98 notes, and there's I kind of wish those old VODs were still available, but I'm pretty sure when I was streaming Banjo-Kazooie and I got to that part, I was like getting legitimately mad because I kept dying and just like, okay, I guess I'm gonna restart the level again. And that was the thing where like I started out using an Xbox 360 controller to play it, and the sensitivity was like that was one where it was like you had to like tap it to get Banjo to move slowly, or it was just like tough.
Yeah.
And then I think I eventually switched over to a GameCube controller, and that like alleviated it a little bit.
A little bit.
But like movement shit, like I would say Banjo-Kazooie for the most part holds up, but those little bits of movement were like really, really annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved Banjo-Kazooie. That's
It's
one
so
that
good.
like I had played like the first level or two, like tons, that's as far as I got. I never like I feel like it was mostly like Gruntilda's castle was just too confusing for me as a little kid.
Yeah.
So playing it on the Switch was the first time I really played it in full, and yeah, it's awesome. That game rules. I'll say as a platformer, vastly superior to Super Mario 64 in my eyes.
Well, there's like more movement options.
Yeah,
There's more moves, which like definitely benefit.
Mm-hmm. And like all the worlds are so neat, unique, and interesting.
Yeah, Rare had a really good streak for a while.
Yeah. They also did Goldeneye and Banjo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, right. I'm like, okay, if I can do Banjo-Kazooie, I can do Goldeneye, right?
Surprised Donkey Kong 64 isn't on the Switch. That's another Rare game.
Yeah, but I'm sure it will eventually.
Yeah, it'll
Which would
make
be
its
cool.
way.
I do really want to play that one. Yeah, I think the difference is with like my determination is like what makes me just like basically as soon as I realized there was no auto aim in Double O Agent, I was like I don't want to do that. I'm like, no. Because to me that's just a bullshit mechanic, or that's just the game being unfair. Whereas Banjo-Kazooie, it's all like, yeah, it's like really, there's some really tough platforming at the end, but it's like, okay, if I just practice and I keep at it, I can do it. Goldeneye, it's like the no aim assist and the dumb ass dragging. That's an issue with the game being badly made.
It's like poor design. Yeah.
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 Banjo-Kazooie, it's like you got good controls, you got
Yeah.
it's all
It's
it
on
all
you.
works. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty OCD, so maybe I'll tough through a few aneurysms to beat. All right.
What we got?
A movie.
Yes.
From 1984, directed by Jonathan Demme. We're gonna be a little bit of a different episode. We're gonna watch Stop Making Sense, the Talking Heads concert film.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I threw it in there because I like Talking Heads, but also it's widely regarded as like the best concert film ever. And I'm like, okay, I want to see what's up. I've never watched.
Okay.
I've seen some bits. I know some of the things. And it's Jonathan Demme, which is just really interesting. He's who did Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked that one up randomly at like a record shop on DVD for like $2 years ago.
Oh,
I haven't
nice.
watched it, but I do have a physical copy of it.
I really want the Criterion of it. It has like it has like David Byrne like in the big suit and stuff. And
is there a
cover.
Criterion release of it?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have True Stories.
Oh, nice.
That's the one Criterion of like the Talking Heads that I have.
I was listening to, like, before you got on. I was listening to Speaking in Tongues.
That's funny.
Yeah, so watch that before, or it's on YouTube for free. There's a 4K upload of it on YouTube even.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah.
Sick.
Although there are a few songs cut from the 4K one, but if you look up Stop Making Sense on YouTube, the top two results, so there's the 4K one and then the full uncut movie HD. I'm gonna cut to the full HD because the 4K one cuts out like 2 songs.
Interesting.
I don't know why. It's E Zimbra and I forget the other one. But so I'm gonna like jump over to the HD one for those 2 songs and then jump back to the 4K.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's free. Just search on YouTube. That's pretty sick. That that like good of quality.
Kind of surprised that it's all on there.
Yeah. Watch it before next week's episode if you don't want to be spoiled for Stop Making Sense.
Well, you already told them what songs got cut.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. If you don't want to be spoiled for what songs they perform at their concert, watch it before next week's episode. These episodes come out every Wednesday at 7 p.m. EST on YouTube and Twitch, as well, or in video form, as well as podcasts, Spotify, and more in audio form. I feel like I did that really weird, but and we also have social pages, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. With all that said, I'm a guy that loves starch. I don't know. TJ, aka J Spot Jack Cheese, and with me as always.
As always, I am your... Oh, man. I'm your mustachioed chef, and I'm going to make you some eggs.
Nice.
And we're going to eat them silently for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Now
Nick, a.k.a. Dr. Funk on Twitch.
And now we just have 5 minutes of silence at the end of this episode.
I wish I still had some eggs left over. I could just...
Yeah. Okay, but that was 5 minutes, right? Bye.
Yeah.